For me, it was a very difficult topic, especially understanding how the funding goes, and especially at the national level. You mentioned something about a general practitioner directly referring a patient to an ERN or one of the HCPs of the ERN. What I missed in the presentation, and maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I didn't read correctly, there is one partner which should be involved, I think, and if you're talking about funding it at national level, that's the health insurance companies. Because they are basically deciding where the money is going, and not the member states itself.
I can just say that we, well, as the European Commission and also the Board of Member States, cannot go in those details because this is, for instance, the Netherlands healthcare system is based on an insurance system, but then we have national healthcare system that are completely public. So this will be decided on a national base. I don't know, and I think also the reference to the patient referral and the involvement of GPs wasn't about the money and the funding, but it was the pathways that each the patient suffering from rare disease should undergo before arriving and having access to an ERN. So there were two separate things.
So I have a related question. We have not yet implemented all of the training that is going to generate the next generation of experts. We are very, very few, and we are operating in healthcare providers where we are already, in many cases, stretched at and beyond maximum capacity. The concept of patients potentially getting referred directly to the ERN and therefore bypassing the local healthcare providers' systems seems very dangerous because of the risk of overload. So I would please urge that the idea that a GP can refer to the ERN, surely the GP should be referring to the healthcare provider within the ERN, just to be sure that we are not going to be overloading the healthcare providers. And while thinking about that, you are talking to the national bodies. Do we have any progress as to whether our national health services will actually fund the centres within our own countries? Have we got any progress to report there? I know it was mentioned in Vilnius in March that those discussions were starting and there was optimism. Is there any progress yet?
Okay. First question is, of course, I mean, it was just an example how the patient pathways will be built. We are not, as you see in the picture I show, between the patient and the ERN, there will always be the local healthcare providers. And it's also a matter of wording, I understand. When we speak about referral within the ERN, we speak about virtual referral. So the ERN will have the patient file. They will discuss a case. They won't receive the patient unless, of course, it will be needed. And on the funding scheme of national funding scheme for ERN, it really much depends on the member states. Some member states have, Germany is implementing a scheme to give further 10% budget to the hospital who have members of the ERN. Other countries are not there yet, but it's in the discussion table. So the board is speaking about how to integrating the ERN into the national healthcare system, and there's also we are speaking with hospital managers. So we're really working on this as well.
Yes, there is a great discrepancy between member states, so it's a problem that we have to discuss at the board. In France, we have an organization, a very structured organization with our national reference centers and competence centers, but we have to work about the care pathway from the practitioners, liberal practitioners, to the National Reference Center and then to an ERN. We have to work about these topics. It's ongoing at this stage.
So when do you think there will be results? because it's really essential for us to get some funding. Otherwise, it's almost impossible to get the HEP running.
To get the HEP, okay, this is it was a voluntary project, so of course you will need much funding, but when your hospital manager, when you applied for this project, it was of course implicit that you were going to participate also in a, I would say, in kind way, in the sense that of course you will help other hospital, you will receive benefits from participating to this project as well. So we are absolutely no near to having a European billing service to reimburse virtual care system. This is really far, far away.
So, I just wanted to ask. Well, first of all, I think there was a typo on this slide from the member state representative. I think the quote from the Eurodis letter was "open, unrestricted call," and it was said an open, restricted call. So there was just a typo there in terms of our words of caution. I just wanted to get clarity in terms of affiliated partners, because I heard the word delay. I think that's a concern too, because the smaller countries have the greatest benefit of engaging with the networks, and I'm a bit could there be a clarity on the time framework for affiliated partner processes to be put in place, because we don't want to create exacerbate the inequity in access to expertise in the smaller countries.
We don't know. You understand that we have you have some problem with affiliated partners. I think that you have understand that it's a problem, for instance, within the board. But with the position of the coordinator group, I hope that in December we will take a decision for the next call for affiliated partners. But now I don't know exactly. I can't answer really to your question.
I just want to make a general comment too. It's really difficult to have change happening, to have things happening in the EU. And when you are arriving at the European level, you discover that very, very rapidly, and you are impressed by the amount of work that is necessary to have a little thing moving. So I take this opportunity to thank you for putting your energy in trying to go forward, and everybody, including you, I'm sure, has the feeling that it's not going forward fast enough, but it's really difficult.
I have a question regarding national plans when member states have the chance to have one. How do you articulate your work, your current work, whether it's for ERN or GP, with the plans currently designed in the various member states? Because it must be tricky issue also with their own tools, systems, information systems, etc.
Sorry, can you repeat your question? Sorry. Well, in French, perhaps.
Articulation entre les initiatives nationales et leurs outils et leurs réseaux et les réseaux européens ou les programmations de recherche européennes.
It was my observation, my personal observation. In France, only in France, we were working about this point, which is the link between our national network and the possibility for a patient to access to an ERN. So I think it's a fil d'Ariane, very important, but we are not at this time sufficiently organized for answer to your question. Okay, it was all at this time.
And the second point was the third countries and developing countries also from Mediterranean region, for instance, because we have very often requests to participate, to be included. So what's the position of the Commission with that regard?
Well, it's not the position of the Commission. Well, it's the fact that member states and only the countries in the European Economic Area, so 28 member states, Norway and Iceland, can participate to this project and can apply for funding. That doesn't mean that the ERN cannot have a relation with third countries and with the developing countries, but we know that some ERN have had relations with Canada, with Australia, so they cannot have the ERN member status, but they can collaborate and in many ways.
On Monday in Italy, we will have the first Italian meeting for ERN. Are you aware, first question, are you aware of such similar meetings to the national level organized by ministries regarding ERN? And second question, what is in your eyes the main questions we would deal with to this level, or to raise attention to this level?
Yes, it's not the first time the ERN Info Day is run nationally. We have in Spain, in Germany, and now I don't remember, but we had already had this experience. And well, the main question now is, of course, healthcare provider will want to know opportunities, new calls, and everything. What ERN established world wants to know is how the Italian ministry will see the integration with the ERN, and it's really on one, and then patient association will be there as well to represent their needs, their view. So it's more a discussion and to
Some awareness.
it is an awareness day, but it's also an excuse to start working together on the integration into national health.
Last short question, please.
So I had a question on the new members, because we would like to, of course, enlarge our network towards the former Eastern European countries, but they don't necessarily fulfill currently the criteria that we have set. And we would not like to lower those criteria either, although it was the first point to revise, update the criteria. For example, in our network, the International Society now is very interested in our criteria and perhaps want to set those in the United States and elsewhere in the world. So it seems to be they are well taken. But we would like to get these Eastern European countries, so should we make a second type of a set so that they could get in? Because they can't be affiliated centers either. So what should we do?
That was the idea.
They should wait for the affiliated partner school. I mean, the standard for full ERN membership, they have to be equal for all the full members.
Yeah, that was the idea of the affiliated members at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think it would be the same.
So, but,
Okay,
yeah.
so we have to wait for that. Okay, maybe we had...
Sorry, Guillaume, just 1 minute, but it's a problem for the board, because on the one hand we have to each network have to revise its own criteria, and on the other hand there is a necessity to revise. So it's a problem for the board at this time.
Thank you very much to all speakers for the session.